decades, Ottawa has been chipping away at what Canadians are allowed to own, usually by decree, rarely with a real debate. My guest has spent 30 years pushing back. He started as a field officer in Vancouver and worked his way to the top of Canada's National Firearms Association. He's watched the bans pile up and the same fights come around again, and he's still at it. This week, in the hardest stretch the organization has faced, he's the one carrying it. Welcome to the Silvercore Podcast, Blair Hagen.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Blair, before we get into any of this, the NFA lost Rick this week. And I want to give you the room to speak to that first in whatever way you feel is right.
Sure. Yeah. I know it was quite sudden for most people, but our president, Rick Igercich, did pass away a couple of days ago. If you're on our social media, you saw it immediately, but it was pretty tragic in a lot of ways. Rick started out as we all do, field officer, and then you work your way up into provincial executives. He was an Ontario director for a while, and then finally was elected president of Canada's National Firearms Association. A couple of months ago, it became apparent that he was starting to get ill. He took a leave of absence, said, look, I need to deal with this. I got to see a doctor, and give me a couple of months. I'll be back on my feet, and I'll continue. Fortunately, it didn't work out that way. And he eventually ended up going into hospital and then hospice and passed away.
Now, I think there's on the website, I believe, the family's asked if people want to make donations. There's a couple of places. I think the hospice is one of them. The Cancer Society is another one.
Yeah. And you can find that information on our website and our social media. So if you knew Rick, liked him, want to make a donation, that information is there.
So Blair, I'm going back in my memory banks a little bit. I'm going back to when I'm a teenager, late teens, and I see you coming out to the Historical Arms Collectors Gun Show, setting up a table and putting up the banners and handing out flyers to people.
Yeah.
You've come a hell of a long way since then.
Yeah, it's been a long road. I'll say that. Yeah. I started get involved back in 94, 95 because of long gun registry. And we all knew what that meant. I mean, if they managed to register all the guns, they're going to be coming for them at some point. I had sort of been aware of what was happening with gun laws previously. As you know, there was legislation from the Progressive Conservative government in the early 1990s, which contained a lot of bans and stuff like that. And then, of course, when the Liberals were elected in 93, they made it their first order of business to bring about gun legislation. Got a copy of the proposed legislation and read it, and, it became obvious that this was the end of rights and freedoms in Canada, right? So I had to do something. And I took a look around at the various organizations that were present then. And I became aware of National Firearms Association and its president, David Tomlinson. And I read his stuff. And Dave picked apart the legislation. And
he wasn't a lawyer or anything like that, but he analyzed it like a lawyer would analyze it. And he'd pick holes in things and in ways that somebody who only knows the material extremely well can.
Exactly. And coming from a background of firearms expertise, he was just the guy to do it. So he picked apart the legislation, showed its flaws, showed what some of the regulations really meant, and basically predicted that it would fail. And of course, at that point in time, everybody laughed at him and said, no, Dave, you're wrong, especially the mainstream media and, the mainstream political parties.
Sure.
And but I got a hold of his writings on it, and it sort of gave me hope that it could be corrected. The situation could be corrected, and I think it did that for a lot of people.
Yeah, I remember when authorizations of transport, they were Even the RCMP, or at that time the Canadian Firearms Center, before they're calling themselves the Canadian Firearms Program,
Yeah.
they didn't know really what they're doing with these ATTs and how they're going out. So Dave wrote a ATT cheat sheet, and he made it normative for not only the individuals trying to get an authorization to transport, but also for the firearms program. When they look at it, it's like, oh yeah, here's another one coming in. We know the process. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty neat thing, that one individual with a keen mind and the ability to put pen to paper and put it out and disseminate to people was able to not only affect change within the community, but also within the people that sometimes the community feels is their enemy, right? The man, the government.
Yeah, sure, but it had to be done.
Right.
I mean, if it hadn't been done, you'd be waiting for answers from the bureaucracy, and that takes, as you know, that takes years and years and years. Meanwhile, you have people who want to engage in legitimate activities with firearms. How can they do it? Because everything's got to be authorized, right? And if that authorization is not forthcoming, or in a way that is not conducive to allow legitimate legal activities with firearms, well, Dave just kind of seized the day and said, I'm just going to pick this apart and provide a guide forward on it.
Well, Dave's actions there are what encouraged me and kind of inspired me on the authorization to carry one. I said, well, if he could do that with the ATT, why can't I do something like that with the authorization to carry, and work together with you guys at the NFA and Rachel Attila there, and helped her through her process of getting her ATC and created a complete template. And I should say, we'll put links in the description if people want to download the template. I've actually made an up-to-date one, which accounts for a few changes that have come through.
Yes.
So they can see the work that we put in order to normalize that process. But it also touches on, because I'll bring it up a little later as well, it touches on the handgun freeze and the ability for people to still be able to purchase handguns.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people look at these bureaucracies and they go, it's just monolithic. They don't communicate. There's not a lot of transparency, and they just give up, right? And that's the wrong thing to do, okay? Firearms laws change, okay? The situation we have today is not going to last forever. Eventually, we'll elect a new government, and there'll be more firearms law reform. But in the meantime, what do? You have to pick apart the legislation, the regulations. You have to find ways of navigating that bureaucracy to engage in. And a lot of times they don't see it as legitimate. They certainly don't see authorization to carry as a legitimate pursuit with firearms, even though it does exist in the Firearms Act and can be issued. They want to discourage people from doing it.
And by they, you mean the firearms program? The
firearms program.
And I know this because they've told me that to my face.
Exactly. It's like, we do not want a lot of these in circulation because guns are bad and handguns are worse than everything else. And why don't you just carry a long gun? Okay,
right.
Because and it gets into things like they want to denormalize the possession and use of handguns in Canada, the lawful possession and use. I mean, the criminal misuse. Well, they don't really care about that a lot.
Yeah, like what's actually happening there, like that's a whole topic in itself.
Isn't
but
it? Yeah.
I mean, part of this is preaching to the choir, because when I look at our demographic, that we deal with hunting, firearms, outdoor activities, but we also reach people all over the world. UK is number 3 for downloads for us, and they've got their own issues that they're dealing with. Sweden, I think, is number 4. Interesting, the wide reach that this podcast has, as well as people who've never been interested in firearms before. So when I'm going through and I've put a bunch of questions and stuff together, I'm going to try and talk as if not only the choir they know, like our government's enacting laws to limit legal firearms ownership, the key word there being legal, and they're not taking steps to actually address the root causes of criminality and violence and all the rest. But I'm going to talk to the non-initiated as well, so that they've got a little bit of better insight.
Yeah, and it's something that we don't really or haven't talked about, certainly in the past, is the culture of firearms in Canada. And we do have a gun culture.
Yeah, we do.
And it's a very strong and a very proud gun culture. And it's a culture based on safety and respect and all of those good things. But it has been abused and manhandled by successive governments in Ottawa that, frankly, have an ideological agenda.
Right.
And there's just no other way to say it. As a community, we are organized now. We are organized politically. We have a road ahead. We have pathways to correct what the Liberals are doing, but you really have to stand up for that. And I remember in the early days, a lot of guys of our father's generation didn't want to do that because they took a look at the political situation in the excited states and kind of decided, well, why we'll just cooperate and compromise. And I mean, some of these regulations are a little bit are a little bit frustrating, but if it's for public safety, it's worth doing. Look what happened. Okay, so it is very, very important that we continue to be politically active, politically present, not only in Ottawa, in the provinces, but standing up for this very, very proud culture. I mean, we have nothing to apologize for. We are the best kind of Canadians. All right.
When I look at it, and I'll play devil's advocate. Okay, so we have some people who know firearms, collect firearms, use firearms, and they've got a good grasp on what that culture is like and what it all looks like. We've got people out there who maybe they were negatively affected by firearms in a crime and whatever it might be, and they're vehemently opposed. And so we've got these two sides, but the vast majority of people out there, they're neither here nor there. And they look at this and they say, well, why does anyone need a firearm? And they say, yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. If we ban these guns, then there's going to be no more gun crimes, right?
Well, there's not a lot out of them out there. I don't know anybody who owns a gun. There are people like that who don't have a cultural reference for it and sort of see guns as a bad thing, based on their opinions. A lot of them mistaken about the situation in the United States, and they base it off of that. As far as, affected negatively, there's not a lot of people. Of course, as you know, gun crime in Canada, certainly in the past, was very low. We had a very, very safe society. Firearms were not generally used in crime. And when they were, the perpetrators got very, very stiff sentences because of the presence of the gun in the offense. Now, all of that in the last, I want to say 40 years progressively has changed, where although the use of the firearm is used negatively, the sentencing no longer reflects it. Okay. Gun charges are among the first that are dropped. I mean, you talk about people who have been negatively affected by firearms, and I can understand that because I have. Okay. I mean, I've been through 2 armed robberies. Okay. And they're not fun.
Tell me about that. Like that just is a completely different, I know this is an ADHD tangent, but I'm curious about these armed robberies.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I mean, two armed robberies, through my employer, Lever Arms Service in Vancouver, which, I think most people would be familiar with Vancouver's longest standing gun store. And, very, very close to downtown Vancouver. And this is going back a few years. But the first one, a couple of guys come into the store, express an interest in looking at guns, and demonstrate the guns. One of his buddy walks back in, takes a pistol out of his coat and points it at me. So anyways, that's frightening. So
tell me this. You know firearms. You've seen firearms.
Yes.
When you got one stuck in your face like that, are you looking at it saying, is that real? Is it not real? Or are you just like, okay, we're just going to assume this thing's real and here we go?
Well, that's exactly it. And that has an impact on the second story, I'll tell you.
Okay.
But takes it out of his waistband. I recognize it. It's a Chinese Tokarev handgun. So what do I do? First thing I do, I throw up my hands and I start backing up. And I'm backing up, and everybody else in the store is like, what's Blair doing? Why is he doing that? What's going on? I back up. I back right out of the store. They get frightened, and they take off.
Okay.
So luckily that ended, that particular episode. The second one, I'm standing at the till, and if you were familiar with Lever Arms in Vancouver, it was not set up like your typical gun store.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yes.
And it was kind of an odd little store in a basement in a building in Vancouver, and there was an entrance, the front entrance, which was blind. I mean, if a window was later put in so you could see people coming
Right.
in and going out. But there was also a motion detector and bell to announce people coming in. So you would walk into the store and it would announce you, bing bong, and you could the staff could look up and see who was coming in. So I'm standing at the till and hear the bell, bing bong, and I see a character coming in through the entrance. Hands full hoodie over his head and face, hands in his pockets, and then my spidey senses kind of go up.
Yes.
There's something going on here.
Yes.
And I start moving,
Yeah.
and
As one should.
as one should. And very shortly afterwards, two other guys come in, and one of them's got a Sten gun.
A Sten gun.
Yeah.
Okay. So for people who don't know what a Sten gun is, these aren't items that have been captured by the recent prohibition. These are
No.
things that have been prohibited for a very long time.
Very, very long time. And you were saying, I mean, what do you think? Is this thing real or not? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And as we all know, there's a lot of de-wadded Sten guns out there.
Sure.
And but the fact of the matter is, it's not that hard.
I've seen de-wadded Sten guns that fire.
Yes, I'm sure you have.
Mm.
So have I.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fact of the matter is, what do? I mean, you assume that this is not real and not live. Go up and take it off them? No, I'm not going to do that. So again, I'm moving, and a Sten gun guy comes in and covers the rest of the staff. I'm in the back by this time, calling 911.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
What a difference between Canadian and American gun stores, because American gun stores might be a little bit different.
Well, exactly. And after those two incidents, I explored getting authorization to carry, but of course, I was refused. It's like, you don't need this. And it's a similar experience for other stores in Canada. And it really, really, it confused me, because you're in a store that's full of guns, ammo, and cash. Mm-hmm. And you're not supposed to, and not only, your lives too, because, perpetrators and criminals will assume, well, I mean, we're going to knock over a gun store. Obviously, those guys are going to be armed. And unfortunately, you're disarmed by bureaucratic decree.
Did I ever tell you about the time that I was helping out Hunter Sporting Goods back in the day when Hunter Sporting Goods was around?
Yeah.
And they were looking to get authorizations to carry. And we went through the process. From my perspective, I think a gun store can get it. And there are provisions in the Firearms Act, regulations, criminal code that allow for this.
Sure.
But it gets onerous after a certain point, and people say, well, geez, I got work to do, or do I just keep fighting this thing further and further?
Right.
But they were told that they were the closest to ever having been issued an authorization to carry. The last hurdle that they were given, because they met every single hurdle, was you have to get a letter from the chief of police from your area saying that police protection is not adequate. And they said not from a police officer, but it has to be from the chief, and the chief has to say police protection isn't adequate in their area. And there's no chief that's going to turn around and say, oh yeah, by the way, we're just not adequate to be able to assist you. At least no chief that I've seen up here. I've seen video clips of some chiefs and sheriffs in the States that have no problem saying that. When seconds count, the police are minutes away. But
exactly. So it's prevented by bureaucratic decree.
Mm-hmm.
And it's similar in the cases of individual ATCs as well. I mean, unless there's an active police file and the police have signed off saying that, no, we can't provide adequate protection for this individual, then you're not getting it. Mm. And even if you do get it, and I'd be very surprised if there's any active ATCs in Canada right now. But no, it's
active
just
for
individuals.
I see.
Yeah, and certainly not for business.
For protection of life.
That's right, for protection.
As opposed to your work in a remote area or your primary activity as a transport of cash or negotiables.
That's right, yeah. So, and it's done that way by design, because they will accept that, yes, there are some instances, very, very few, and very, very narrow, where an individual may have to carry a handgun. We do not want this to spread, because, again, it's the boogeyman of the United States, and unfortunately, there are states in the United States that are more safe than Canada because of the presence of armed individuals. But of course, it gets into a cultural thing, good old-fashioned Canadian parochialism. We do things different here. We have a safer society. Well, I'll tell you what, we don't. Our society is just as violent as places in the United States, but the fact is there's just fewer Canadians.
So there's going to be people, because I hear it often, what can I do, right? What can I do? I'm not Blair. I don't have his knowledge. I don't have his background. Of course, Blair can do it, but what can I do, right? So can you tell me a little bit about your background and temperament and how you use that to do what you do, and maybe some of the toll that takes on you, because you fighting for 30 years, fighting. It takes a toll.
Well, sure. Well, I mean, I was like anybody else. I mean, I had when I got started, I had a basic understanding of firearms. Sure. I mean, from my family, that sort of thing, I was familiar with firearms, but not so much familiar with firearms law, legislation, and definitely politics. And of course, back in the early 90s, maybe some people will remember the political situation then, but I know people are despondent now because of the political situation in Canada. But in the early 1990s, it was even worse. Okay, because all the major political parties were anti-gun. Okay, the Progressive Conservatives, the Liberals, the NDP, they were all anti-gun, and we didn't have a lot of choices in the type of political action we could take. Then, obviously, you had the coming of the Reform Party, the dissolution of the Progressive Conservative Party, and of course, the whole conservative movement in Canada changed. And it changed for the better, especially in terms of firearms. And a lot of individuals, especially in National Firearms Association, but other individuals, other organizations made a very, very big investment in that. To the point today where we have a major political party, mainstream political party, that is supportive of the Canadian right and cultural tradition of firearms ownership. And if you don't have that, because if you look at other countries in the world, you're not going to be able to make any headway in protecting your rights and freedoms. If you look at, places like Australia, UK, that have suffered very greatly, it's because the mainstream political parties would not take this up as part of their policy. We understand this to be your right. We understand this to be a legitimate part of Canadian culture. And that's the Conservative Party today. And it's been a very long, hard fight to do that, to correct the attitudes of the old Progressive Conservative Party of 30, 40 years ago, which tolerated firearms ownership, but was certainly not in favor of it and did not want to protect gun rights in Canada, to a point now where we have a major political party that has formed government, has introduced firearms law reform, and I believe will do so again.
Politicians, they always say either first job's to get elected, second job's to stay elected, right?
Yeah.
I see firearms used mostly as a wedge issue. Okay, sure. we're gonna ban all of these guns, but our opponents here, they want to see everybody walking around with an AK-47 and driving around 24/7 with guns in their glove box, and it's all lies. It's all political theater, right?
Absolutely. A lot of it's deliberate. A lot of it's based on ignorance, because there is a lot of ignorance about firearms, and the problem is certainly those in Ottawa and elsewhere who would disarm us are proud of that ignorance.
I think so. When you say ignorance, my take on that is ignorance from the populace about firearms. I don't necessarily think parties that are trying to ban guns are themselves ignorant, because they've gotten to a certain level, and at the very least, they have certain advisors. I think they know full well what they're doing, and the efficacy of a ban towards curbing, let's say, violence or things that are stem from poverty and from socio-demographic kind of issues and economics. And I think they rely on the ignorance of the public and are being intentionally manipulative of that information.
Well, sure, the advisors do know that.
Sure.
Okay, and there is a cadre in the Canadian government, in the bureaucracies, the various ministries, that do want to see a disarmed country, and it's always been there. Okay, and they will use whatever government that is in power to pursue that agenda. If it's a more right-leaning government, well, you're not going to get as much of your agenda done. But even under the Harper government, there were firearms bans and confiscations, and people seem to forget about that. They were very, very limited in scale, very, very small in scope. But it happened. So it wasn't all good news. I mean, yes, the long gun registry was ended, and that was the 800-pound gorilla. And other reforms achieved before they lost power. But that bureaucracy did continue to target firearms owners, did continue to target their property. And yes, people lost guns. I mean, it wasn't on the scale that we're seeing today, but it did happen. So
I think that word that you just said there, property, I think that's the one that segues from the people who are like, why are you taking my guns? It's a legitimate thing. We have a gun culture and all the rest. That expands to people who have no interest, have never touched a gun, don't know anyone who has one. If they can do that to you so easily, what's next? What can they do to me? And I think that's why these parties are starting to take it up, because they realize, okay, hold on a second. The end outcome of this, these bans and confiscations based off of fear and political posturing, not evidence-based, but hey, it's working for us. What's the next thing that we can do out of fear and political posturing to, which might deprive other individuals of their property?
Absolutely. And I think you see that more so today because it's not just guns. I mean, especially here in BC, I mean, we have a lot of people, property owners who are very, very frightened and frustrated, over land claims issues.
Sure.
It's like if the government, a court decision comes down and it's like, well, no, you don't own your property. Well, I've been paying a mortgage on it for 30 years. Well, so sorry.
Yeah.
And then you add into things like massive gun bans and attempted confiscations. Yeah, people are, I was going to say starting to wake up, but I think people have woken up to the very real threats. And it's the scale that it takes place on. If it's just affecting someone else or, this little group here or that little group there, people can tend to ignore that. But when you're looking at, for example, with the current gun grab, we're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not millions of firearms. Okay. And that affects a lot of people. I know the government downplays the numbers. They did the same thing with long gun registry, but they downplay the numbers and certainly in terms of the compliance that they got and, people in the general public. If you know nothing about firearms in Canada, they might look impressive to you. But if you know something about firearms laws or firearms in Canada, yeah, you can see how badly this current gun grab is failing.
So the NFA, 50 years of advocating for firearms rights. From an outsider, I see the easy path. The easy path is to catastrophize and to play to people's fears and to rile people up. And I don't see the NFA taking that route. How do you...
Right.
Yeah. How do you keep the NFA's claims credible without catastrophizing, which pays better?
Yeah. And I can understand why some people do that. I mean, I've seen it in the past, certainly.
Sure.
And there's always an element of truth to that.
Sure.
Okay. But why do that when you can provide a positive path forward, a positive path of political reforms, being involved in politics, not only at the federal level, but also at the provincial level. And we see how important that is now, don't we? Majority of provinces in Canada not supporting the Liberal gun grab.
That's crazy. Like, I'm trying to rack my brain. Has this happened in other areas where a federal law comes through and the provinces are like, we're going to do everything we can to find a way to not support this?
Oh, I'm sure it's happened in the past. Certainly not with firearms. I mean, this is unprecedented.
Right. I've never seen it on firearms.
Yeah. The majority of provinces in Canada and even the majority of law enforcement agencies in Canada do not want to have any part of this. And of course, that sets the federal agenda back, because when you have the cooperation of provinces that are providing resources and logistics, and you have the cooperation of law enforcement agencies who are enthusiastic about getting these guns, then it makes that job much easier. But
You have the social currency to be able to do something.
yeah,
Now they lack that.
they don't. They don't have it. I don't think they had it from the beginning because people, I think right from the get-go on this, people are going, oh, they banned a bunch of guns. Okay. And they're going to take them off their owners. Well, these people purchase them legally. They own them legally. They all got firearms licenses. They've demonstrated that they're not a danger to public safety. Well, why are you doing this? Oh, they're too dangerous to be in circulation. Well, it's been proven the opposite.
Right. And not only that, but tell you what, well, we get around to taking them from you. You guys just hold on to them for a bunch of years.
I know, right?
Because they're so dangerous, but you guys just keep holding on to it.
Yeah.
And we're not going to extend the amnesty. Oh, okay, there's a court challenge. We're going to extend the amnesty a little bit further.
Wasn't the timing on that interesting? Huh?
That was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, it was. It was always my personal opinion. And of course, at National Firearms Association, you constantly get questions from people going, "What should I do? What should I do?" Well, we're not going to advise you to do something. Okay, we're going to tell you what you have to do and what you don't have to do. Number one. Okay, well, the amnesty is coming up, and do I get my gun deactivated? And boy, the options that they offered people are really proving to be problematic. Do I get it deactivated? Do I export it? Do I just, sign up for this voluntary registration for confiscation? What should I do? Do you think they'll hold to that amnesty? And, knowing the logistics and the manpower that it would take to actually do that running up to October 30th, I just had to tell people, look, it is my opinion that they are going to have to extend this because they cannot achieve what they want to do by this date. The majority of OIC firearms, Order in Council firearms, are still out there in the hands of their owners. Okay. They have not complied with the program. Okay. So either the government decides to create hundreds of thousands of new criminals overnight, or they have to extend it. And, can you imagine if they held to that amnesty deadline and all of a sudden day after, okay, we're all criminals. And eventually people get caught up in it. Why do you have this gun? Why didn't you do something about it while you had the opportunity? And you're standing in a courtroom and you're in front of a judge and the judge asked you, why didn't you comply? Well, I attempted to, Your Honor, but I just couldn't get it done. Well, why didn't you have the gun deactivated? I looked into that, but I couldn't find a gunsmith to do it. Okay. And if you look at the situation with firearms businesses, and especially gunsmiths in Canada, they're dropping like flies now because various things, the firearms legislation, the OICs, the economy. So it's going to be very, very difficult. And I'm sure people are having this challenge right now. If you chose to go that route to actually find a gunsmith to deactivate the gun for you. Well, I couldn't find a gunsmith, Your Honor. I really tried, but there was just nobody left that could actually do it before the end of the deadline. Oh, okay. Well, why didn't you export it? Okay. Well, I looked into that too, Your Honor, and unfortunately, I was told I could not export this gun to the United States. What? Why not? Well, it was prohibited from entry under U.S. law. Why did you not export your AR-15 rifle to the United States? Well, illegal, unlawful to do that, Your Honor. Well, that's confusing.
Yeah, you think?
Okay, why didn't you send it somewhere else? Where? I mean, where did
tell me where? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Where do the majority of firearms exports from Canada go? The United States.
That's right.
Okay. Couldn't send it to Australia. Banned there.
Nope.
Couldn't send it to New Zealand.
Right.
Banned there. So where do you send it? Azerbaijan? I mean, so the logistics of trying to find a place for this gun to go, there you go. Okay, well, why didn't you turn it in? Where, Your Honor? Well, I mean, your local law enforcement agency. Well, they're not participating in this, Your Honor. So what could I do? And if you look at it on that basis, I mean, what judge is going to convict somebody who tried to comply with the law and was stymied at every step?
You mentioned something earlier about gun charges. Somebody does something and the gun charges are associated, one of the charges they have on there, and they're usually the first ones to be dropped.
Yes.
And I see that time and time again. And it's a tactic. going to court that they use. It's like, oh, tell you what, we'll just get rid of these ones over here if you just admit to these ones here. And the reason is because a lot of these charges don't hold up to a candle. A lot of the gun charges are so poorly written, the Firearms Act and the regulations, and it's so convoluted that in order to defend it, it's almost untenable to prosecute, and to defend it, you're either got to be ignorant to what the possibilities are, or just agree to the plea coming off.
Oh, very much so. But I mean, even when it comes to the violent misuse of firearms, even those firearms charges have dropped. I remember one of the lever arms holdups, and they actually caught the guys. And we were notified that you will have to appear as witnesses, at this place on this state and testify against these individuals. And we're going, oh, great. Okay, well, at least they got them. And in the run up to that, it's getting, 2 weeks before we got to go to court, a week before we got to court, and a couple of days before we actually had to show up and testify. We were notified by Crown that we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, they plead.
They pled out to another charge from another offense, and they dropped the lever arms charge.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yeah, and where's the logic in that one? I don't know.
Firearms offenses, I mean, I'm talking about legitimate violent firearms offenses used to be taken seriously in this country. Mm-hmm. But I hate to tell everybody, but in a lot of cases, it's just lip service now. It's like, we're cracking down on gun violence. How are you doing that? By taking all these horrible, what's the term they use now? Assault-style weapons.
That's right. Yeah, these variants and assault style right? Nothing that's got an actual legal term associated with that.
Well, they got caught on. They used to just call them assault weapons. Okay, sure. And of course, people go, well, these must be fully automatic firearms, and why should anybody have these things? And they got called on that because we, if you know guns, you know what an actual assault weapon is. Mm-hmm. A select fire. Self-loading firearm. And none of the guns concerned with the current gun grab are that. So what they had to do is invent a new term. And again, it comes under the heading of, things like Saturday night specials, assault-style weapons, It's a term, it's a marketing term, basically, a political marketing term.
Sure. A lot of this is.
And I don't think it's really working because people are looking at this now, and we've seen this even in national media, mainstream media, going, well, these aren't military firearms. They said they were going to send them to Ukraine, and Ukraine refused. Mm-hmm. So...
Well, if they have political marketing terms, what can the gun community have in its back pocket as its own political marketing terms? Like, if that's a game that's being played, it seems, okay, they're going to go sing off key, say things that aren't true, but I'm going to tell the truth, and I got the facts to back me up. Oh, I'm not getting much traction here.
Yeah, no, we're getting plenty of traction. I mean, I compared to the situation today compared to 30 years ago.
Okay.
And you got to recognize the strides we've made. Okay. I mean, I remember, not excusing what's going on right now, but I remember where there were no alternatives. There was no political alternatives, but it was that long, hard fight, that political capital that was built and earned. And we have a situation today politically in Canada where we're fairly well placed. I mean, once we elect a new government.
Mm-hmm. So what are the most common questions that are coming into the NFA?
Wow. Okay. Well, lately, obviously, the situation with OIC Firearms. As you know, this whole program was extremely badly communicated, poorly conceived, badly communicated. Nobody, is my gun on the list? Well, go to the website and go through all those pages of guns that are banned, and the eyes glaze over. People are not firearms experts. I got a call from a guy saying, I think my gun is affected by order in council. It's a variant of a variant of a variant. I phoned the firearms program, and they told me it wasn't because it's not on the list. And I'm going, that doesn't sound right. What kind of gun do you have? Well, I've got this, this, and this. Okay, so look up the FRT. And it's like, nope, your gun is definitely on the list.
Mm.
Okay. So people are getting confusing messages when they contact Firearms Center. They're getting wrong answers, and it really undermines faith in the entire process.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, if they're that incompetent. But again, if you call National Firearms Association, you're going to get the straight goods. Because that's what we're in the business of. Firearms laws are extremely confusing. I think deliberately, but we deal with this every day. We have to advise people on what they're legally obligated to do, what they're not obligated to do, courses of action going forward, and things like compliance and that sort of thing. And we're still dealing with the fallout from legislation of 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, okay? Because that hasn't been decided yet. So I still run into guns that, were prohibited, in the 90s. And it's like, especially with things like estates. And as you know, estates are extremely complicated.
Sure.
Especially now because of the freeze on handgun transfers. I mean, and again, that's deliberate because most people, if they don't understand the law, what's the first thing they do? The widow,
She gets rid of them.
Yeah. Hello, police, come
Right.
pick this up. And that's what they count on. But there are a lot of very extensive firearms collections in Canada that are completely devalued now. And again, this is a property rights issue. How dare they? How dare they do that to people's property, especially when it becomes part of their estate, and they should realize the full amount. Well, you can still export them to the United States. Well, guess what? Even if you can,
Not all.
but even if you can, by the time you get them there, with the fees involved,
You get pennies on the dollar.
you're getting pennies on the dollar because, hey, Canadian firearms are, they're unwanted. They're unneeded in the USA.
Sure.
They got plenty of guns.
They got enough themselves.
Exactly. So if you export the collection down there, you're not really realizing the full value.
And
But
they've got
again,
some strict rules about what can be exported, well, not exported from Canada, but imported into the States. They have some strict rules on
very much so.
and drop tests that need to be met, which some guns that we have in Canada that were legal for us to have that they couldn't have there, or certain dates that they were made or whatever.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, this gun can go to the United States, but sorry, it can't go to California.
Yeah, it's not a panacea. It's not, just ship to the States like everyone thinks. They got lots of guns. Well, every state's different too.
Exactly, and that can really affect it. And again, it's an assault on property. They don't care because, frankly, this government doesn't care about property rights.
What were the questions you get prior to, let's say, the handgun freeze and the OIC prohibitions? What were the most common questions you'd get?
I think in National Firearms Association, estates, number one.
Estates, yeah.
I mean, the type of information or instruction that they get from CFP is often very confusing.
Sure.
And it's not helpful. I mean, they're not there to help you. I mean, ideally, they would like you just to call the police and turn the gun in, right? So a state law with firearms, educating executors and power of attorney, very much so about the process of what they have to do. Because, again, it's not easy because there's all kinds of authorizations and vetting necessary.
But you guys have put together a guide for people to be able to do that.
That's right. We do have a guide. It's a plain language guide. It's a step-by-step plain language guide for executors and power of attorney. If you find yourself in that situation, contact us. We'll send you. And at least you'll be better armed going forward in the process of dealing with the firearms program. Things about firearms classifications, and I was speaking earlier about guns that were restricted and prohibited under previous legislation. Guess what? They're all still out there.
Yeah, I know. I know.
And every once in a while, they pop up, and it's like, and especially working in the firearms industry, right? In a licensed firearms business, especially in a major city like Vancouver. You get people coming in. Yeah, Dad died, and he had this, and this. You know, and can you tell me, what if it's legal or not? And okay, that's okay, that's regular. And it's like, oh, look at this little gem. And you have to ask, okay, do you have the registration for this? I don't think it was ever registered.
Sure.
And well, what can I do with this? And I'm going, well, but first of all, you're committing an offense right now by being in possession of this.
Right. And the criminal consequences for these things are severe.
Exactly, right? All I did was try to deal with my dad's estate. If he didn't register it, that was on him. Why are you doing this to me?
Right.
Okay, so they go back into the woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
So the majority of the firearms that in the early 1990s that were, first of all, demanded for registration were not registered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they never came in. And there was a very narrow window there where you could do that and potentially become grandfathered, right? PCs introduced that very shortly afterwards. The Liberals were elected, and that's it.
Right.
We're not. If you didn't register it by this date, you can't do it now. So all of those guns are out there, and they're in the woodwork, they're in attics, they're in basements, they're under beds, that sort of thing, and there's no pathway to legality for them, which is a big problem.
Yeah, it is. So 25-32 caliber handgun, short barreled, 105 millimeter or less, right? 104 millimeter, 105 millimeter.
Yeah.
They're prohibited. Can't have them. But they say, okay, some of you guys, you got them, you own them, you keep them, because I know you're going to squawk. We won't take them from you. We'll grandfather you.
If you re-register it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
That was a big problem, too, because a lot of people didn't get that memo. It was like, I already got a registration. Why do I have to re-register it?
You know why they did that?
Tell me.
Okay, I'm gonna guess here. I'm going to guess they asked for a re-registration because they didn't know and their systems weren't up to date and they lost registrations, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it was
same with the 2020 re-registration that happened. Remember that?
Yeah. It was like they knew. I mean, they collect this data for years. They were doing it for decades, and it would just go into a file cabinet. And it was never used for any public safety purpose. Hey, we got a record of a registration for this handgun, and we solved the crime because of that. It didn't happen. Okay, it just went into a file, and people forgot about it. But
those guns were cheap, by and large. A lot of them were cheap. Saturday night specials. We'll give that term to them, and people go out and they spend a little bit of money. They get themselves a gun, and they were registered. And so, can we wipe off the majority of the registered firearms?
I actually spoke to one of the RCMP techs who was involved in that process.
Okay.
And I said, why did they do it this way? And he said, hey, basically they wanted to ban half of the handguns in Canada.
That's it. And the easiest way to do it was that.
Okay. How can we do this? Orders come down from Ottawa, prohibit half of the handguns in Canada. What criteria can we use? Okay. First of all, we can do it by caliber. 25, 32 caliber. These are Saturday night special calibers. They're not useful for target shooting.
Except if you're in the Olympics, right?
Well, that's what we'll make an exception. Okay. One cancels the other. But I mean, so, 25, 32 calibers. Well, that's only a quarter of the handguns in Canada. It's not enough. Well, I guess we could do it by barrel length. Okay. If the barrel's 4 inches or under, then we can prohibit them that way too. But there's a lot of target pistols and collector's pieces that have that criteria, right? They say, well, too bad. They can keep them, but nobody else can have them.
Right.
So it was literally a shopping list. Come up with a way we can do this. Come up with criteria based on ignorance and falsehoods. People don't understand firearms. They're not going to care.
Yeah.
And plus, we've got a majority government, and we can pass any legislation we want.
So there was a clause, by virtue of my birth date, I couldn't get a short barrel 25 or 32 caliber handgun. However, I could inherit one. And back in the day,
12-7.
Right. They said, well, the person has to die. Well, it doesn't say anywhere the person has to die for you to inherit it. So did a test case. Sure enough, inherited a little Walther PPK. Number of years go by, and I've got this little 12-7 inherited on the back, and my next license comes in, and I got full short barrel 25 32 caliber.
I remember that.
Right. So I'm like, okay. And this is during the process when I'm in an 8-year battle with a rogue firearms officer and a police officer who ended up getting criminally charged and convicted.
Yeah.
Doing shady crap, which is why I got that apology letter and an undisclosed sum and all the rest. This happened during that time. I'm like, they're trying to entrap me. So I documented everything, and I'm calling them up, and I'm recording the calls, and I'm emailing them. It's, Mr. Bader, we are the RCMP firearms program. We do not make mistakes. It was the exact quote. I'm like, okay, so I can go and purchase. Yes, you can. So I went and I bought and sold and purchased. And I mean, we do not make mistakes. I brought it to your attention. I showed you the process. You chastised me. Okay, fair enough. Like, I didn't want to be the one coming out and saying, like, alarming the bell and, oh, you did something wrong, quick fix it.
When it comes to the Firearms Act, that's the right thing to do.
Well, what I did is I alarmed it in a certain way for myself individually. In a way, fair enough. We don't make mistakes. Okay, here we go. So bought and sold, and then they're like, number of years went by until they finally said, oh, yeah, it was a computer glitch, and it was you and, like, I don't know, 86 other people in Canada. It was a small number.
They started revoking registrations.
Right. Or you'll be a criminal.
Exactly.
Hold on a second.
You authorized this.
Why did you do that? I'm like, well, hold on a second. Paper trail here.
Exactly. You authorized it. That's why I did it.
Right.
Oh, that shouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, you should have known better. And I've had that one used too before.
It's funny. It always happens that way. And during the reclassification of rimfired rifle magazines. And we had started hear rumors they're going to do this. And of course, Polly was agitating for it. It's like they have these big clips and because they're exempted because they're 22 or something. We need to ban these things. So if the order comes down from Ottawa, RCMP find a way to prohibit these things. Okay. And of course, the reason they used was, well, there are handgun versions of these rimfire rifles, so therefore we will call them handgun magazines. And
you're talking about the Ruger 1022 magazines
and the Mossberg 715
and the 715, right?
That's right.
We'll talk about the 715 after this, but go on.
Okay, so find a way to do it. Okay, well, both of these firearms have a handgun version that is available in Canada, so therefore they have to be restricted to the 10-shot limit. Right. And of course, the way they did it was very, very haphazard for the number of magazines, and they're still out there.
Now, do they do that through law or through policy? Not legislation, not
RCMP
regulation.
has a policy of proper classification. Well, it was not classified properly in the beginning. We've reviewed it. Now we're going to classify it properly. Okay, so it's not regulation. It's just a review of policy. Okay, so anyways. And we started to get rumors about this, right? And nobody knew what was going on. You couldn't get any answers from CFP. And then that memo leaked from, I think it was E-Division RCMP saying, okay, this is happening and this is how you should treat them if you find yourself involved in an investigation. And that, in the age of the internet, boom, it's out there and everybody's going, my God. And anyways, but it creates all kinds of problems. Immediately, at Lever Arms, we start getting calls from people. It looks like RCMP is going to do this. Can you modify my magazines for me? All right. And we're going, we're not sure that we can. Okay. Because you have to be authorized to do that. So anyways, shortly after that, we had an inspection and asked one of the firearms officers, look, this has happened here. Showed him the memo. And said, can we be authorized to modify magazines for people to the legal limit? And looked at it and said, we'll get back to you.
Because that'd be a prohibited device now.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to, anything with a prohibited firearm, a prohibited device, you have to be authorized to do it. You can't just assume that, hey, it's, a couple weeks later, he got back to us and said, "Nope, you're not going to be authorized to modify prohibited devices." And I'm going, "Well, how can people comply?" That's your problem.
That's something a lot of people don't realize. Like, let's say, deactivating or even destroying a firearm as an individual.
Yeah,
and people listening to this, I'm not a lawyer. Blair's not a lawyer. But as an individual, so we'll put that caveat out there, individuals are able to do that lawfully. But you take it to a business, and a business needs to have the special conditions on its business license in order to do that. Otherwise, you jeopardize the whole business.
Yeah, exactly. And, especially with a registered firearm or previously registered firearm, there's a process of deregistration that is involved, and you have to have a verifier on staff. You have to be a verifier in order to do this, gunsmith verifier. So it may sound easy, and especially with the current gun grab, I think a lot of people are going, well, I'll just destroy it. Well, you better be very careful about that, or I'll just deactivate it myself. I'll put a rod in the barrel. Well, guess what? That may not stand up to spec.
That was one of the interesting ones too, because they wrote up a list of guidelines.
Yeah.
Nothing in law, but they use the guidelines, and then they started holding these guidelines like you have to meet these guidelines in order for it to be deemed deactivated. And one of them was you had to have a solid steel rod of equal or harder hardness of the barrel. Well, barrels aren't a hard metal to begin with. And it's got to be a blind hole, and it's got to be welded in.
Yeah.
And so people would stick a rod down the barrel, and they'd weld it on both ends. Well, that's not a blind hole. That bore is open on both ends, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was pretty goofy. And actually, right where you're sitting right now, I had the registrar in here, flew in from Ottawa. What was her name? But we had this discussion, and this is when it used to be an office in here. And of course, it's a firearms business. We got cameras everywhere, and they record audio and video. And so she comes in, and she's like, I can't really talk. I'll just kind of write. I'll just give you hand signals. I'm like, of course, I'm like, can you actually not really talk? Or is this because you don't want to get recorded on here? But she says, okay, so these guidelines, does it have to meet them? Yes. What if it exceeds it? Well, actually, if it exceeds it, it might still not be deemed deactivated. But what if it falls below, but it'll never go bang? Well, maybe it could be then, right? And we played this game back and forth. And essentially, it was over that issue. I had two guns which are identical to each other. They're a couple of Berettas, 92Fs, and they were disabled or made inoperable for the firearm safety course training, the restricted course, in the exact identical way, but one was done before whenever it was May 2005, and the other one was done after May 2005, and they had a bulletin on their website saying anything deemed deactivated prior to this bulletin will stay deactivated unless it can readily be made to fire, and anything afterwards needs to meet our guidelines. And so I got these two identical guns, and one was done before and one was done after. One they called deactivated, and the other one they called disabled, which required registration.
Right.
Oh my God. So
bureaucracy, wonderful thing, right? And this sort of ties into the current OIC gun grab thing. And when they first did this, they didn't really envision what was going to happen. Okay, they just thought big flashy gun ban thing, Justin on the news saying we are banning this many firearms, and of course they didn't think it through, so they just introduced the OICs. Okay, the owners are authorized to be in possession until they're given instructions on what to do, turn them in, whatever. And but there's all kinds of day-to-day things that affect people with firearms, right? So immediately the problems start. Oh, geez, I got this OIC firearm. And there are two categories of order and council firearms, previously registered OIC firearms, things like AR-15s and short barrel rifles, and previously unregistered OIC firearms, which is everything else. Okay. So anyways, they do this. And of course, and we would get these calls at NFA going, I have an OIC firearm. I'm moving. How do I move with this firearm? Well, you got to have authorization to do this, right? So contact CFO. I'm moving on this date. I'm moving with these handguns and an OIC firearm. Can I do this? Is it lawful for me to do this? And they couldn't come up with an answer.
No, just between you and me, just go ahead and do it. It is the things that people are being told by the RCMP.
Yeah, verbally, right?
Verbally, yeah. Oh, we don't really have it, but if you go do it, I can't see there being a problem. What? and you got to know that there's voice over IP phones, and everyone's using these things, and everything gets
more importantly, if
nowadays.
You just go ahead and do it, and all of a sudden you have a problem, and you're standing in front of a police officer going, "You have to have an authorization to do this." Or
but the kind person on the phone said,
Yeah,
they're so
but
nice.
Cheryl at the firearms office told me I could do it. Well, that's not lawful.
That's right.
So, and people it didn't know what to do, and especially things like you couldn't be in possession of the firearm anymore. I'm moving out of the country. I've got this gun. What do I do? Can't tell you. I'd love to buy it from you, but I can't do that legally. So, what was the only alternative? Hello, police. Which I figure that that was probably deliberate. But anyways, it was a big problem, and it festered for 2 years. 2 years before CFOs finally had enough and went to the CFP and said, "Look, people are this is routine stuff.
Yeah.
People move every day. People
That's right.
change. Sometimes they can't store the gun at the house. They have to store it somewhere else.
Sure.
And that has to be authorized. And it can't be right now. We don't have a policy." So finally, they came up with a policy 2 years after the fact, basically saying, yes, we will authorize you. You will have written authorization to either move with your OIC firearm or store it at another location, alternative storage, temporary storage.
Sure.
And you can store them with another similarly licensed firearms license holder or at a business that is authorized for storage. So that solved that. It solved part of it. But the fact of the matter, that only applies to previously registered OIC firearms. There is no authorization available for previously unregistered OIC firearms.
Well, I wonder what the bones of that authorization is. If it's just another, oh yeah, we'll do it policy thing, because if you're transporting a firearm, you have to be licensed for that class of firearm as well, right? So it's either under a business license or your own personal license.
Yeah.
It's not, are you going to license all those people as prohibited firearms owners now?
Well, that takes legislation.
Right. It's like, that's what I mean. I'm wondering, speculating out loud, that the authorization that's being provided has no bearing in law to begin with.
I'd agree with that.
That's my speculation. Now, you brought up variant before, which is kind of an interesting one, because I don't think the courts were able to determine what the word variant actually meant. I know that was part of the last OIC battle. I was cross-examined on my report that I put forward, and we talked about the Mossberg Plinkster and 715T, and we talked about the word variant, and the justices and judges there relied on my evidence and information in their opinion that came out, because there's nothing out there that contradicted it.
Yeah.
But I don't think anything ever came down to actually pinpoint what a variant is.
No, I mean, no legal definition.
No.
Definitely. It's just a basic understanding that they operate off of.
Right.
And how do you figure it out? It's got to go to court, court decision.
And then they say, well, I mean, look at this FRT, firearms reference table. This thing says it's illegal. And they say, well, hold on, how do you make those FRTs? Because this other one you said here, it said it wasn't. Oh, don't look at that one that said it wasn't.
Yeah.
And really, these FRTs have no bearing in law. It's just our opinion.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, hold on. This is your testimony. This is what you're going to say, that they have no bearing in law? Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, then why are we relying on them as if they have some sort of bearing in law here? Yeah.
Well, politics. That's basically what it is.
So we got two different guns, basically the same gun. The Plinkster and the 715T. I think T's are tactical or something. And one has a clamshell stock that goes around it that makes it look black and ugly looking.
Yeah.
The other one doesn't. And it's, a friendly little Plinkster.
Yeah.
One's non-restricted. You can own it. The other one, completely prohibited. The second you put that scary stock around it, prohibited.
Yeah, exactly. Why? Because it looks like an AK-47. And I
think that, so we talk about variant and we talk about the aesthetics of firearms.
Yeah.
I think that's the crux of it. Honestly, I think the crux of all of this is that looks scary.
Yep.
Let's use that as an example for what we're getting rid of.
Yeah, largely. And I think a lot of this gets caught up in the ideology of the civil disarmament lobby in Canada, too. All guns are bad, but some guns are worse than others. Why? Well, they look this way and they encourage a certain mentality, and we don't like the type of people who would own that type of gun, and Americans own those types of guns, and we don't want Canadians to own those types of guns. So it has nothing to do with public safety. There's no demonstrable reason for this. For example, AR-15 rifles are very rarely, if ever, used in offenses.
Sure.
Okay, but they're the first ones targeted. Why? Because of the politics of the situation.
Yeah, I think you nailed it there. I think essentially from both sides, firearms owners and governments that would want to ban them, there's a perception of competency around an aesthetic of a firearm. And gun people will be like, look at this. I got this gun that looks really Gucci and I'm going to be more competent because of the aesthetic. And the people who'd want to ban them would say, oh, we can't have those kind of guns in their hands because like what if they went and did something and revolted, whatever, right?
Sure.
I think that's what the OIC is in a nutshell. And I'd encourage the audience to come up with a rebuttal or maybe something that is a bit deeper. But I think it basically circles around perception of competency and aesthetic associated.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just unfortunate that it gets caught up in a political debate. I mean, if firearms, and I don't know going forward into the future, I used to believe that there was a time that we could have, we could come up with firearms, we could write firearms legislation that was based in reality and widely recognized as being so and widely accepted as such. But due to the politicization of this, which goes right into the, into the labs of RCMP forensics, I don't even know anymore, because the process is not transparent. Okay, it's not founded on any sort of principle. And you look at this stuff winds up in courts, and judges can't even figure it out. Why was this gun banned? Well, we deemed it unsuitable for sporting purposes. Based on what?
That's an interesting one. Okay, so that's a false argument right there.
Yeah.
They talk about sporting purposes, and by sporting purposes, hunters would say, well, this isn't sporting, despite legislation calling it sporting at the provincial level. Yeah. We'll put all the semantics aside there. But they say, is this rifle suitable for hunting, right? Yeah. If it's not suitable for hunting, what do you need this thing for? And I think that whole thing is a very false framing.
Absolutely, especially, and that was the original argument for the restricting of AR-15 rifles. I mean, this rifle is not suitable for hunting. The magazine does not conform to hunting regulations. The round is not suitable for hunting. The 5.56 round, you can't hunt with that. Well, you can. Number one, no, it just blows the animal apart. A lot of this was brought, the falsehoods from the Vietnam War.
Sure.
Yeah, about
it's going so fast.
It just blows the I've heard this, and people based the restriction on their bigotries. But there was no basis for it. It was just politics.
Yeah, but it sounds reasonable when a person says, well, you can't use this thing for hunting. Like, why would you use this for hunting? But for anyone who isn't in the firearms realm,
right?
Like anything can be used for hunting. Like a 22 is not suitable for hunting moose. It could, like, because I've heard stories, I've talked to people who've used a 22 on moose, but it's perfectly suitable for grouse.
Sure.
Right? 416 Rigby, if you're going out after big game, suitable. Use that on a rabbit, you're no good. So what is suitability? It's got nothing to do with the aesthetic. It's got everything to do with what it's being used for. And it would be like saying,
exactly,
you tell me what knife isn't suitable for cooking. You tell me what car isn't suitable for commuting. Like, it might be ridiculous to drive around in Lamborghini, some race car to commute around, but it doesn't mean it's not suitable for it. It'll take you from point A to point B just fine.
Well, exactly. And getting back to AR-15 rifles, we don't like this rifle. We don't like the round it fires. It's not suitable for hunting. Well, you can get one in any caliber you want these days.
Sure.
Okay. 308.
Yeah.
The larger calibers, they make them in hunting calibers, and they are used for hunting all over the world. Sure. Why not Canada? What is different about the animals here? Well, it all gets caught up in the politics and attitudes that are very, very unfortunate, because it affects people's rights and property.
Well, so much of it surrounds around the aesthetic and the gun. And I think both sides get stuck into this.
Yep.
The anti-gun people, they look at the gun as evil, and the pro-gun crowd, they'll look at the gun as for what it is. It's a tool that you can use. It could be used for evil in the same way that a vehicle could be used for evil.
Any number of things.
Sure. But I also find that when you start trying to defend against these false arguments, Like, is that a suitable gun for hunting? Well, that's not the argument to have. That's not the litmus test, because we don't have something in here that says this is and this isn't, just in the same way that there's no knife that's not suitable for cooking. It depends on what you're cooking. It depends on what you have. And if that's the only knife you have, it's probably better than using a spoon, right?
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of the politics, certainly previously, have been couched in that. It's been useful for the civil disarmament lobby to do that, especially when you get into big media-inspired, media-created controversies over this stuff, right? Because, they're marketing a commodity too. And, hey, to them, just like Hollywood, guns are sexy, guns are exciting, guns are, interesting, and they're going to use that any number of ways, not entirely legitimately all the time.
So how does the average NFA member have that conversation with somebody else who says, I don't know, I don't have any guns. I think, why not get rid of the guns? And how do they have that gun conversation without making the gun the crux?
It depends on the individual. I mean, there's some people out there who you're just not going to reach, and that's fine. All right. But as long as you can bring them to a point where they respect your rights, your culture, and your property. It's like, I hate these things. I wish they were gone. Nobody should have them. But I understand that you are law-abiding. You are licensed. I understand what you had to do that. And I understand that this is your property and that should be respected. Okay. Number one. I would never own that. I don't agree with it, but yes, I do understand that that's your experience. Number two, education about firearms. A lot of these people who, will parrot, the government line, the media line on it, they got a little interest going on there.
Yep.
Right. It's like, this thing is, I'm scared by this thing. I'm very frightened by its presence, but, I'm also interested. So, take the myth out of it. Guns are tools just like anything else. All right. And once people become familiar with them, they lose their fear. They lose a lot of the misconceptions they have about it. So that's the education part.
Sure.
Okay. There's a lot of people who got involved in gun sports and, the culture of guns who were absolutely opposed at the beginning. I think one of our acquaintances, Professor Gary Mauser, was one of those people.
Yes.
Yeah. He back 34 years ago when this controversy got going, he was a professor at Simon Fraser University, and he said, "What's going on here? I don't really understand what's going on here. So I'm going to get involved and I'm going to educate myself." Coming from a background where he did not use firearms, and firearms were not part of his family experience, he thought, well, I'm going to take an academic interest in this and see what's going on. And he did. And eventually he became a gun guy. Yeah. So, there's that too. And I think that's going on now. And I think it has been going on for many years. I remember a time when firearms ownership was kind of hidden away because, a lot of people thought that if we just hide this away, if we're not overt about it, they'll forget about us and leave us alone. Okay. And no, that does not work.
Yeah, that was a common mentality that I saw time and time again. Well, it's not really affecting me, and I'll just be quiet. It'll go by. And all around the world, that's changing. All around the world, people are starting to speak up and say, well, hold on a second. Let's base some laws in reality here.
Oh, especially these days. I mean, it's gotten to be a very much more dangerous, violent world. Even our world here in Canada. I mean, if you look at what's going on,
it's got nothing to do with the guns.
No. And guess what? I mean, you can ban everything you want. The guns are still going to be there.
That's right. They should make murder illegal. Like, really, that would make sense. If they made murder illegal, that would stop it.
Well, I heard they did that, but it's not working. So I think we need to make it double illegal.
Double illegal, yes.
Okay. Yeah, and I think attitudes on firearms in Canada have changed. They've changed over the last few decades. I think a lot of people in Canada are going, look, we know where these guns are coming from, the guns that are being used in crime. We know why they're being used in crime, and we want something done about that. We do not want firearms taken off of law-abiding people.
I want to talk about, because we've talked a lot about the OIC prohibited firearms. Let's talk about the handgun freeze, which a lot of people look at as a handgun ban, because essentially that's what they've done, is gone out and banned the handguns, but that's not the terminology or the words you're using. It's freeze, which implies it can be unfrozen. And I've worked with a good number of people who've bought and sold handguns during this freeze because there are legal provisions that allow them to do that. And before we talk about it, I'll put another plug. If you're listening to this and this is interesting to you, check the link in the description if you want to be able to download your guide in order to understand more about an authorization to carry, whether you qualify, because that also opens up handgun purchasing and transferring.
Yeah, no, I've been involved in a few of those already. But it's very limited and it's very narrow. And the fact of the matter is there are a lot of handguns in Canada. Okay, there are a lot of registered handguns in the hands of licensed owners. There are a lot of handgun collectors in Canada with very, very extensive collections that would have represented hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential return to an estate, which is usually the way it happened in Canada. Dad died and the estate sold the guns and realized the profits from it. But that's not happening now. And it's very, very difficult for a lot of people. And in a lot of cases, it becomes, the path of least resistance, especially for widows, is hand them into the police. And that always sort of happened in Canada, right? Because I don't know what the law is. This is a problem, and I don't want to deal with it. Some people were a little more informed about it, and new steps could be taken to transfer the handguns and realize profit for it. But, in the case of a widow, she's shattered, her husband of like 50 years is dead. And all of a sudden the police are there saying, give us the gun. And what is she going to do? Say no? I am the executor to the estate. I am authorized to be in possession, and I will transfer this to another firearms license holder. That's not going to happen in the majority of cases, and people know that. But as it stands today, it is possible to transfer a handgun. Licensed firearms businesses are certainly authorized to take handguns into their inventories. So if you feel that you're in a state, especially, you can go that route. Also, Canada's National Firearms Association has a new program, the Save Firearms program. Basically, if you find yourself in a situation, especially if you're an executor or power of attorney, we can assist you, okay? NFA is a licensed firearms business now. We have storage for firearms. We can store firearms. We can hold registrations for firearms. So if you find yourself in a situation where you can no longer hold a registration for a handgun or something, even previous prohibited class firearms, not in most cases OIC firearms, and I'll touch on that in a minute, but previous prohibited class firearms, things like automatics, converted automatics, semi-autos prohibited by OIC, that sort of thing, we can take them into our inventory, and that can prevent them from being destroyed, turned into the police and destroyed.
Is that included with an NFA membership? Is that on top of? There's probably be storage fee.
Yeah, there are fees involved, obviously. But no, membership is not required.
You should make membership requirement, because not only that, but they'll...
I would... you would think that we would do that, but I mean, people are in all kinds of situations now, and especially today, people are really hurting financially.
This is true.
So we judge every case on its own merits. It's like, is it within our interests to take this firearm into our inventory, to store this firearm? And it could be for a short period, it could be for a long period. Okay. There's a lot of people who found themselves in cases where it's like, I gotta get rid of this gun. I'll transfer it to NFA. I'll relicense myself, and maybe a couple of years in the future with a change of government, then I can hold a registration for this thing again. So there's that as well. Unfortunately, and it was, I hate this. All of this sort of came to fruition, and it was bad timing around the time of the OICs. I thought, and we had dealt with this problem for years. Okay. And really, really worked towards getting that BFL and setting up this program. And all of a sudden, 2020, boom, OIC. And people are going, what can I do about this? And, we started advertising and saying, hey, this is what we can do for you. And they assumed that included OIC firearms.
Okay. I see where this is going.
I
thought you were saying, I hate to say this because I thought people are looking at you like you're trying to monopolize on the OIC or something. But
exactly. But
did they try and spin it that way?
No, it was bad timing.
Just bad timing.
It was just bad timing. And, we'd get contacts, help me save my guns. And
Got it.
you would have to tell people, look, you can't just send them to NFA and we're going to shield them from the liberal gun grab, because legally you can't do that, right?
Why?
Yeah. Why? Because if police come for the gun, for example, if the amnesty had ended and NFA was in possession of the gun, and there's only one way NFA could be in possession of the gun. Generally speaking, OIC firearms cannot be transferred. They cannot be stored elsewhere, except previously restricted, previously registered OIC firearms with authorization of the provincial CFO.
Okay, so it's the authorization to transport that's preventing the NFA from taking possession from the individual side.
Well, no, we can store previously registered OIC firearms. Okay,
Yeah,
we are authorized to do that with authorization of provincial CFO.
right.
So if you cannot be in possession of, say, your AR-15 or your short-barreled rifle, you can seek authorization from your CFO
Sure.
for temporary or alternative storage
Sure.
with National Firearms Association.
Okay.
But again, previously unregistered OIC firearms, it's a gray area. There's no authorization available. So what do?
I'm going to spitball here because I'm a solutions kind of guy.
Okay.
But what about NFA field agents being listed under the NFA business license and being covered through the business transport permit? Maybe a charge for them to go out and physically have to pick them up, because that's not going to be mailing back and forth sort of thing. But
well, some are, but I mean, due to the logistics and the geography of this country, most of the firearms are shipped. And they have to be shipped. Once authorization is approved, the firearm can be shipped to our facilities, and we will store the firearm.
But you can ship under your own business license.
Yes.
Okay. And so if a business, an NFA field agent goes and picks it up, now it's under NFA control, under NFA business license.
If that individual is listed on the business firearms license.
Right. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just spitballing, but it might be an extra little thing to be able to help the.
I mean, and if this is happening in whatever province concerned, great, fine, good. But I mean, it's a huge country, and people all over this country find themselves in these situations. So in those cases, the firearm has to be packed up and shipped.
Okay.
But Save Firearms, and a lot of this is still evolving too, right? So I always encourage people, if you have a problem with a firearm, a registered firearm, that even a firearm you think you may not be in compliance with it, contact us, and we'll give you a straight, real-world answer on where you're standing. We're not going to couch it in all kinds of this, that. It's not going to be like talking to the firearms program. You're talking to somebody who's going to say, look, this is what it is. This is what your options are. And this is not what your options are. And you have this way of going forward to be in compliance or come back into compliance.
So I spent 8 years fighting the federal government and winning. That's 8 years of fight, and you got to dedicate yourself to that. Spent 8 years fighting a rogue individual doing things he shouldn't have been doing and winning. Got the apology letters, got the sums, all the rest, but it takes a toll. What toll has this taken on you, constantly fighting?
Boy, I don't really know how to answer that question. Is there a toll? I guess there is. There was certainly a toll on Rick Igercich, wasn't there? And I got to tell you, that guy, he never let up. Once he became president of NFA, it was go, 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 go. All right. I mean, he was attending events. He was going to gun shows. He was traveling internationally, representing us. NFA is a member of the World Forum on the Future of Sports Shooting Activities, WFSA. And this is the international group that looks at firearms laws and legislation, what may be coming down the road, especially from the UN. And he would represent us at those meetings. And it was just the day-to-day stuff that I started to see it, Rick's really looking tired. Rick's starting to really sound frustrated, and perfectly understandable, because we're all in that situation, right? I mean, we're into this. I mean, we're 6 years into these OICs, and my God, it's got to be it's over a decade of liberal governments attacking us at every opportunity. take a toll? Absolutely does. I mean, it takes a mental toll. I mean, just dealing with people, average people, regular people, Canadians who should never have been put in a position to have to deal with this stuff. I mean, if the laws were reasonable and sane, and there were straight paths forward, there would be no problem. But these are just regular Canadians with regular lives, that have been put in what in many cases are just like insane situations because of government actions. And that's just unforgivable. That's the most galling part of this. These are not people trying to skirt around the edges of the law or, sneakily do stuff. These are people who are law-abiding, want to be law-abiding, want to be in compliance, and are finding themselves in a situation due to government and bureaucratic edict cannot.
It's hard to talk about yourself, isn't it?
Oh, boy.
Do you see light at the end of the tunnel?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the biggest problem we have right now is the OIC gun grabs, obviously. And they've been chipping away at this since they got going in 2020. And yeah, they have gotten some guns, by hook or by crook. Some people voluntarily participated in the recent confiscation registry that ended March 31st. Not a lot. Certainly not given the per capita numbers of OIC firearms in Canada. But again, some people get scared, get frustrated, don't see a way out, and decide, well, this is my opportunity to comply and maybe be compensated for it. And that was not a guarantee.
Yeah.
A lot of people said, well, they'll pay me for it, and they find out you're going to pay me what?
So 136,000 is what they budgeted for, which doesn't even come close to touching. And yet the compliance rate is, I think, less than half that of what has been turned forward. And I have a question of how they arrive at those numbers.
Okay.
Are those numbers conflated with business returns? Because businesses, I know, a lot of businesses, like, this is just a stock item. It's an inventory, and I've been sitting on this thing for years now. And
and especially today, it's like every firearms business in Canada is hurting real bad.
Yeah.
Okay. And the part of this initiative was to drive firearms businesses out of business. This is another way that we can end this in Canada. If most of the firearms businesses are gone, nobody can buy a gun. And
have you had that told to you, or is that your perception? Because
no, this is my belief.
Okay.
Certainly, I'm feeling it with my business. And if you look at it logically, that can be the only reason. Are the numbers conflated? And yeah, I'll tell you how. A lot of the numbers that the federal government was dealing with when they came up with the ideas of these OICs were firearms registered in the old long gun registry. Okay.
The one that isn't worth the paper it's written on.
Exactly, because officially that was all the firearms in Canada prior to 2012.
Right.
Because they had 99.9% compliance, don't you know?
Of course they did.
Oh, my God, it was just a fantastic.
Yeah.
So when they crunched the numbers for the number of firearms that they wanted to prohibit by OIC, they went back to the old long gun registry and took a look at the numbers of guns model by model, make by make, that actually got registered. Did you know that there are only 4,000 Ruger Mini 14 rifles in Canada?
Oh, yeah, that number totally checks out.
Well, it just makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, this is a fire. The
A-team didn't do anything for that gun. I mean, there's no popularity around it.
I mean, they've only been imported into Canada, since 1972, and it's not the type of firearm that anybody really wanted. So the registry says 4,000, so we can manage that, right?
Yeah, it's a true and accurate number for sure.
And extrapolate that on the other firearms that were registered, and you remember that there was a lot of non-compliance back then because people,
massive.
Yeah, and people knew what was going to happen, and that was basically proven by the actions of this government. Because a lot of people, if you registered what is now an OIC firearm in the old long gun registry, well, you got a letter saying, we have information that you held a registration for this firearm prior to 2012. If you are still in possession of it, you will be required to do such and such and such. They don't know if you're still in possession of it or not, but records from the registry.
And everyone said, "Oh, that's just tinfoil hat.
You're
Registration,
just paranoid. Yeah. Come on.
Registration leads to confiscation."
No, they'd never do that.
Oh. So driving businesses out.
Yep.
I've told this story before, but when I started the Silvercore Club back in the day, the firearms program says, okay, we want you to belong to a gun club or range in order for us to issue an authorization to transport, because that shows us a legitimate reason why you're going to have to transport it. And
that was a policy that was widely adopted by CFOs nationwide.
Right. And then a little further down, they said, well, if you've got a restricted license, well, maybe we need to know you belong to a gun club or range if you're getting one or having one renewed.
Yeah.
And spottily implemented province by province.
In different provinces right across the country. And if you look at Quebec, I mean, in order to hold the registration and to have ATC, you have to demonstrate that you went to the range at least once a year.
Sure. So
and they check up on it.
I hired a lawyer because I said, I've read the act, I've read the regulations, I've read the code, I've looked at everything. You don't have the authority to do this. I'm going to challenge it in court, right?
Yeah.
Young, naive me. And the firearms officer comes and he explains, and I've told this part before, he says, Trav, we're the federal government. We got all the money in the world. We got your money. We'll hang it up forever, right? Start a club, right? And I said, well, I don't have property in the range. No, club, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What I haven't told before was a bit of the impetus that I think around that, because around the exact same time, that same firearms officer says, oh, Trav, we're all getting called back east. We've got to go to Ottawa. We've got a big meeting, firearms officers. We're all meeting up. I guess some kid took a gun to school, handgun, and I think it was elementary school. He said, his words, it was show and tell sort of thing. It wasn't, there was nothing nefarious that was done with it. But
it's a kid,
right? But they want to meet with the firearms officers, and they're setting some course of action. I'll tell you all about it when I get back.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Comes on back, says, sorry, Trav, love to, but I'm a man of my word. But I've also had to sign an NDA, so NDA doesn't allow me to talk about it. But what I can say is that the firearms program and federal government is coming up with a 3-pronged approach to limiting legal firearms ownership in Canada. Not illegal, legal firearms ownership in Canada. And it was right around that time when the requirement to belong to a gun club or range came out. I think that was one of the prongs. I think another prong was going after the businesses, because if you can cut the head off the snake, because I've heard that used around the firearms officers in the past.
Interesting.
Yeah. If you can cut the head off the snake, the rest will fall. So when you say it's your perception that the businesses are being targeted, I'm going back to around 2005, and that was part of the plan. Now, it wasn't explicitly told to me. I connected those dots because right after that, they came out with the requirement to belong to a gun club or range. And right after that, they started cracking down on firearms businesses. And some of it was like the film industry one. Everyone could get a film industry business license. And then all of a sudden that became really hard. And then there's those police officers who were doing their own film business and cutting corners and doing, like, there's that whole shady thing. I'm sure if you talk to Tom Falcon, he can fill you in on that one.
Tom's got some stories.
Oh yeah. But, and there was some people who were actually doing things shady that they shouldn't have been, that weren't even cops.
Always are, always will be.
Right.
Investigate them and charge them.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that was a big push, and you saw the impact of what they started putting in on business license conditions, where the law wouldn't permit them to put it on their business license.
I've experienced that.
Okay.
But even before that, I mean, even when they brought in long gun registration, I mean, I swear half the businesses, and mostly, the mom and pop businesses, in East Haystack, Saskatchewan, selling guns for years, out of the hardware store. A lot of those closed down, just stopped selling guns. And that was part of the plan.
So where did we go from here? Well, I believe the NFA is on the Conservative Party of Canada's Outdoors
Yes.
Committee now.
Yep.
Can you tell me about that?
Very positive. Very positive development for us. This is the committee that will be, and is already approaching the types of firearms law reforms that will be enacted when Conservatives form government. Okay. And you know what? And this is all part of the progression of gun politics in Canada, which I love. I love this. And I've studied this for over 30 years. I love this. And we are finally at a point where we have people in political parties, and I'm talking about MPs, who understand the firearms issue the way we do. Okay. And they know.
Yeah, you're seeing that now, aren't you?
I know. It's like, people who, experience the long gun registry, people who understand the way the licensing system works, people who are caught up in these OICs. And you don't have to, I'm finding less and less that I'm having to educate these people, which I love. It's great.
No
And it's
kidding.
like, okay, sir, this is the way it is. No, it's okay. I already know.
Yeah.
And I'm going, great.
What a boon, eh?
It's fantastic. I mean, when you have people who have common sense, understand what has been done to legal gun owners in Canada over the years, where we are now with we've got the most restrictive legislation, orders in council, everything that we've ever had in the history of this country. Are we a safer country?
No, I don't think the numbers would back that one up.
Certainly not. What's going on in our cities? I think people recognize that we have a very bad problem with the legal system. I think people recognize that, I don't think it's a problem with law enforcement because they can catch them all day long. But I mean, once they get them in court and they get kicked loose, what do? Arrest them. All you can do is arrest them again.
I'll double arrest you. Here you go. Triple arrest you. Here you go.
It's like, it very much is a revolving door. They talk about a revolving door legal system in the United States. Canada has had that for decades. And until we get serious about, I hate to say it, punishing violent crimes, can a finger behind bars pull a trigger? Probably not. You're not going to have the same kind of access to firearms. And, we do have easy access to firearms in Canada, not legal firearms, certainly. But, we share a very, very long and mostly uncontrolled border with the United States. And the fact of the matter, as long as there is a demand for...
There will be a supply.
Exactly. And whenever I talk that's one thing a lot of politicians don't get right now. Why are we having this problem, with all these guns coming into Canada? And it's like, well, I mean, we got to improve border security. And I guess you can always make a case for that.
Sure.
Right. But again, they seem to miss this part about the demand. It's like, if we just secure the border, make it, very, very difficult to get guns across, they won't come. No, they're going to continue to come. And if they can't come, or if it's not feasible for them to come from the United States, they'll come from offshore. Okay. It's the demand, because criminals know that they can use a gun in an offense in Canada today in 2026. And it's not going to be a major part of their problem, because that is the charge that is going to get plea bargained away first. And if you're only doing, 6 months or a year, 4 or 5 years in prison, maybe it's worth doing it, because I hate to say it. I mean, where firearms like 60 years ago, 70 years ago, it was a big deal for a gun to be used in a offense in Canada. Okay, it had to be a particularly bad guy or a psycho or something for a guy to actually use a gun. Most criminals stayed away from it. It was, fists or blunt objects or knives or that sort of thing. The gun was, hey, dude, you don't want to do that, because the type of sentence you would receive was, well, there goes a big chunk of your life.
Right.
But now?
No, that fear's not there anymore.
No, it's gone.
So I often get asked about the different gun organizations in Canada. Oh, who should we support? Who should we get behind? And
get behind one of them.
Well, I take a little different approach, and I say, why don't you get behind all of them? Because they're all doing some things that I look at, and from my perspective, and everyone's going to have a different opinion.
Sure.
They're doing some things that are great.
Yeah.
And they're doing some things like, man, I'd do it differently than that, or I don't like
that. Yeah.
or I don't like this at all. But it's not the organizations, and you can correct me from your position if you're wrong, but it's not the organizations that's going to save guns in Canada. They're going to help organize the individuals. The individuals are the ones who are going to save it. So get behind one, whoever you think it might be, or all of them, and educate yourself as the best path forward. And if you get behind all of them, each one's going to have a different nuance on what they feel the best path forward. And sometimes it all aligns, and sometimes maybe they're not.
You know, a lot of people have misconceptions about gun politics and gun organizations, lobby groups, that sort of thing, and what they do and what they can't do, really. And, you know, it's always, here it is again, the United States, right? You know, the NRA goes to Washington, and you know, they're held in awe, they're held in fear, and they shut down legislation. Well, that's just not true. I mean, they've had certainly had successes over the years, and I love NRA as an organization, what they've done, you know, organizing sports shooting and that sort of thing, and their lobbying efforts. But again, it doesn't always work that way. They are, because politicians can't talk to every stakeholder in the country, okay? They can talk to their constituents, and they are talking to their constituents today in Canada, which I love. This is another thing I love. People are actually talking to their MPs. They're talking to their MLAs, and that is so important. I don't like what's going on with guns. When you form a government, when you're in office, I expect you to do something about that.
Do you think that's the number one thing that people can do individually?
It always has been.
So if they want to do that, are there primers of how they can go and talk to their representative in a way that...
Sure, and we educate our members, but you know what? It's not complicated, and it's not hard. You just go in as a regular person and say, this is my problem. This is what they're doing to me. I don't think this is warranted. I'm a law-abiding, upstanding individual, and I'm not going to accept it. Plus, it doesn't work. I mean, you can educate yourself as much as you want. It's like, you know, the old thing about writing letters to politicians. And everybody, I would always get questions about this because people thought they had to have like a 10-page letter with all kind of stats and statistics and that references. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that. Keep it short, keep it concise, and make it real for the elected representative that you're dealing with. And they can really relate to that, because you're not coming on like you're a gun lobby guy, which is a problem for us, because they know who we are, they know where we're coming from, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. We can speak broadly for the mass of firearms owners in Canada who can't do that, and so therefore they come to us and say, okay, how about this for firearms law reform, or what's wrong with this or that, and we can speak with authority on that, because, you know, we've dealt with this, you know, through the regulation, through the legislation for years and decades, and they know that. But for actual political impetus, just the regular guy going, hey, this is wrong and it's got to stop. And you don't have to be, you don't have to have 30 years of experience to do that. Okay. Agreed.
Is there anything that we haven't talked about that we should be talking about?
Oh, boy. I think we've covered most of it. Another thing I've been saying a lot these days, support your local gun store. I know people don't have a lot of discretionary spending anymore, you know, but, you know, if you can make that investment, because we're losing a lot of businesses. I mean, my God, I take a look around here locally, and you're aware of who's not there anymore.
Yeah,
and that's a problem. Again, you know, get involved with an organization like Canada's National Firearms Association. We have a field officer program. Basically, you're a representative in your community. A lot of people think there's a lot of onerous requirements for that. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. The other thing.
Yeah. What do they have to do?
Whatever your best efforts or tolerance or talents are. Okay. If you like talking to politicians, you can do that. If you like distributing information at gun stores, you can do that. If you like representing an organization at gun shows, you can do that. It's really what you can bring. And we have individuals who do all of those things, field officers who do all of those things, you know. So there's not, you don't get a job description. Basically, I remember when I first got involved, and I was appointed a field officer by Dave Tomlinson, and I said, Dave, I mean, what am I supposed to do? You'll figure it out.
And you sure as hell did, didn't you?
It's like, so, it's really, use your imagination. There's all kinds of things you do. And as you get more experience, then you can sort of move up the ladder. I did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for those listening to this, I'd highly encourage, go check out nfa.ca. Check out what they stand for, what they're doing, and shoot Blair a message, shoot the NFA a message over, because they've always been very responsive, probably even more responsive if you're a member. So that, but I think you respond to basically everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I get these questions. The people call our office with a legal question or looking for guidance. And guess what? If you do that, you're going to be talking to me.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a member. I understand that a lot of people can't.
I think that's a smart approach.
Yeah, it's like I'm not going to turn you away.
No.
Because there are so many people in this country that are negatively affected by the federal government's actions, basically. And it's just, luckily, I'm in a position where I can advise people. I have a full-time job, obviously, but it's a job that lends itself to allowing me to take questions from people and helping people, because a lot of it includes licensed firearms businesses. So if you call NFA, you're going to be talking to me, and we're going to give you straight goods, real world explanations, and plain language.
So I'll leave it at, consider supporting your local organization. Check out the NFA. Consider supporting them if it makes sense.
Strength in numbers.
Yep.
I mean, we always get this question. First thing a politician's going to ask you, how many members do you have? Because that's how many votes you represent.
Yeah,
and,
good point.
So just based on that, and our membership, I'm very pleased with the way our membership is today. It's bigger than it ever has been before. A lot of that is, the fear of what's going to happen with the orders in council. People want representation. They want groups to take this forward in Ottawa and come to a resolution. But I understand everybody's limited. I'm limited myself, but if you can support NFA, please do so. If you like the work especially if you like the work we do, support at least one firearms organization or all.
And here's something you can do that's absolutely free. If you like the conversation and you think that other people should hear this, share this episode, post it on social media, get it on out there. And if you're interested in getting your authorization to carry a firearm, or learning ways that you can legally, with the freeze, own and transfer restricted handguns, check the link in the podcast here, and it'll have a complete guide for you. Blair, it was an absolute pleasure having you on here.
Thanks. Just before we break here, I just want to say, Rick, wherever you are, thank you, Rick Igercich. You did so much good for this organization, and I'm going to miss you, man, because you were the hardest working guy one of the hardest working guys I ever saw, and I've seen a few. Although previously I was executive vice president, I'm also going to be acting as president now. As we work through these changes, it's not a big thing. I've done this before. I was president from 2008 to 2010. After Dave Tomlinson died, I was president for like 6 months in 2022. So this is my third kick at the can.
Blair, thank you so much for everything you do. It's been great having you on here, and we're going to have to do this again.
I would really like to do that.